Good evening, children. Today I am going to finish off the chapter Physical Features of India that we have done, that we have started in the previous class. So, just a kind of quick glance for the chapter, that the chapter was Physical Features of India. The outlines of the chapter are the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands. And as you know, children, India has all major physical features of the earth, that is, mountains, plains, deserts, plateaus, and islands. The land of India displays great physical variation. Geologically, the peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient land masses on the earth's surface. The Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent land forms. In this chapter, I have told you the topics, the major physiographic divisions, and you can see the height in meters. The Himalayan mountains we will be studying. Himalayan mountains are stretched over the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. The Himalaya consists of three parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. Then comes, as you all know, Mount Godwin Austen or Mount K2 is at the height of 8,611 meters. This peak is located in the Karakoram range in Ladakh. It is the second highest peak in the world after Mount Everest in the Himalayas. And as you know, the Himalayas have also been divided on the basis of regions from west to east. And now let's talk about some highest peaks of the Himalayas. The first one is Mount Everest, that is located in Nepal, and the height is 8,848 meters. Mount K2, it is located in India. The height is 8,611 meters. Then comes your Kanchenjunga, that is in India, and the height is 8,598. Then comes Makalu, that is in Nepal, and the height is 8,481. Then comes Daulatgiri, which is in Nepal, and the height is 8,172. Then comes the Nanga Parbat, that is in India, height 8,126 meters. Annapurna, it is in Nepal, height is 8,078. Then comes Nanda Devi, that is in India, and the height is 7,817. Kamet, that is in India, height is 7,756 meters. Then Namcha in India, height 7,756. And then comes the Gurla Mandhata, it is in Nepal, and the height is 7,728. Then let's talk about the northern plains. The northern plains have been formed by the interplay of the three major river systems. The three main rivers are the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra, along with their tributaries. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. Then my next topic is Peninsular Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is a table and composed of the old crystalline igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. One of the distinct features of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil, and that's why it is known as Deccan. Then today, children, I am going to start with the concept of Indian desert. Now, if we talk about Indian desert, the Indian desert, also known as the Thar Desert, it occupies the western part of India. It lies mostly in the state of Rajasthan and extends into the southern portion of Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab. This arid area is one of the most inhospitable areas of the Indo-Pacific region. Its undulating surface is composed of sand dunes separated by sandy plains and low barren hills. Several saline lakes are found here, covering around 2 lakh square kilometer. It is bordered by the Indus River Plain, the Aravalli Range, the Arabian Sea, and the Punjab Plain. This desolate region of shifting sand dunes, birchens, broken rocks, and scrub vegetation receives an annual average rainfall of less than 25 centimeter. The only river that crosses this area is the Luni. Remember, the only river which crosses this area is the Luni, which joins the Arabian Sea through the run of Kutch. Most of the people are pastoralists, as agriculture is not possible here. Now let me tell you the meaning of the word pastoralist. It means those people who keep cattle, or their profession is related to cattle only. However, with the construction of the Indira Gandhi Canal, the scene has transformed to a great extent. Now, in this term, I have used certain words which were confusing. My first word was birchens, Barchans. Birchens is a crescent-shaped, shifting sand dune, and it is found in the deserts. The second term is escarpment, Escarpment. It is a steep slope or long cliff that forms as a result of faulting or erosion and separates two relatively level areas having different elevations. The next term is Gondwana land. It is one of the two ancient supercontinental produced by the first split of the even larger supercontinent Pangaea about 200 million years ago, comprising Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, and the Indian subcontinent. Now children, just tell me, what is the meaning of plateau? Define. Define plateau. Yes, any one of you tell me, either Akhil, Priyansh, Vaibhav, Covid, Akhil or Devansh, any one of you. Tell me the answer of plateau. Just define this word. Just try to send the answer. Okay, Prithvi. Only Prithvi has sent. It is a table-like structure. Anybody else? Vaibhav? Covid? Okay, Priyansh. An area of flat level ground. Good. Other people? Okay, now let me tell you, a plateau is an area of highland, usually consisting of relatively flat terrain that is rose significantly above the surrounding area, often with one or more sides with steep slopes. Again, I am repeating my definition. If the question comes, what is a plateau? You will define a plateau is an area of highland, usually consisting of relatively flat terrain that is raised significantly above the surrounding area, often with one or more sides with steep slopes. Now, tell me the other word. What is metamorphic rock? Define metamorphic rock. COVID, I am waiting for your answer. Send your answer. Define metamorphic rocks. Prithvi, Priyansh, Akhil, Vaibhav, COVID, Abhishek and Devansh. What do you mean by metamorphic rock? Now, let me tell you the definition. Now, let me define metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks were once igneous or sedimentary rocks, but have been changed, metamorphosed as a result of intense heat and or pressure within the earth's crust. Now the next term is, what is a sand dune? The answer is a hill of sand made by the wind on the coast or in a desert. That is known as sand dune. Yes, Priyansh, correct answer. Your answer is correct. Okay. Now, let's move to the next point, the coastal plains. Now, if I talk about the coastal plains, the coasts of Odisha and Gujarat are plains. The coasts of Odisha and Gujarat are plains. These plains are referred to as eastern and western coastal plains. Stretching from Kerala to Gujarat is the western coastal plain. Remember, stretching from Kerala to Gujarat is the western coastal plain, which is rather narrow except for the Gujarat part. If I talk about the western coastal plain, the western coastal plain is divided into three sections. The highly rugged and dissected coastal plain in the north is called the Konkan coast, that is Mumbai to Goa. Now the second one is the central sketch is called the Kannad plain. The central sketch is called the Kannad plain, or you can speak according to your choice. The third one is the third or the southern sketch is referred to as the Malabar coast. Drowned valleys formed due to some rise in sea levels are called estuaries. Such estuaries are formed by the rivers of the western coast. This area is a land of small fishing villages, coconuts, palm and spice gardens. Many ancient ports dot the coastline. Mumbai and Murmgaon are well-known natural harbors. Salt water lakes called lagoons. Remember this word? Salt water lakes called lagoons are formed on the Kerala coast in the far south. The Chilika Lake is the most important lagoon on the eastern coast of India. It is located in the state of Odisha to the south of the Mahanadi Delta. Spits and sandbars are common depositional features of the area here. A few miles inland, one can find the hills with coffee, tea and rubber plantation. Remember this term? A few miles inland, one can find the hills with coffee, tea and rubber plantation. The west and leveled plains along the Bay of Bengal marks the eastern coastal plain. In the northern part, it is referred to as the northern Sirkar. Now, the coast of southern Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu is popularly known as the Coromandel coast. Remember this term? The coast of southern Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu is popularly known as the Coromandel coast. The banks of Narmada are lined with Hindu shrines and temples. The Godavari, also known as Dakshini Ganga. Remember the short question? The Godavari, which is also known as Dakshini Ganga or Ganga of the South. It is the second most sacred river of India after Ganga. This is the second most sacred river of India after Ganga. The Kaveri has been harnessed for irrigation and hydroelectric power supplies and supplies power to many areas in the state of Karnataka. In this area, enough farming activities take place in the fertile deltas of the east coast due to its rich alluvial deposits. Now in short, if I tell you about the western coastal plains, the points are: the western coast is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea. It is a narrow plain and consists of three sections as mentioned. The northern part of the coast is called Konkan, that moves from Mumbai to Goa. The central stretch is called the Kannad Plain. The southern stretch is referred to as the Malabar coast. Now, let's talk about the islands. The island is a part of land. Now, the first question is, define island. What definition will you give? Yes, children, tell me the definition of an island. Yes, anyone of you tell me the definition? Define Iceland. Yes, correct answer by Prithvi. Okay, yes, correct answer given by Priyansh and Prithvi. The answer is an island is a body of land surrounded by water. Or in other terms, you can say an island is a piece of subcontinental land that is surrounded by water. Lakshadweep, Iceland's group, is composed of small coral islands which were earlier known as Laccadive, Minicoy, and Aminidale. These were the names. Now let's talk about Andaman and Nicobar. See children, the entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories. The first one is the Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. Now, these islands lie close to the equator and experience equatorial climate and have thick forest cover. Now, let me define it. As I have told you the definition of island, an island is a body of land surrounded by water. The next is, now let's talk about the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. These are a group of more than 3,000 islands, out of which 265 are inhabited. The Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal have 5 large islands grouped together. Remember the statement? The Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal have 5 large islands grouped together called the Great Andamans, and to its south is the island of Little Andamans. There are some 204 islets. The Nicobar Islands south of the Andamans are a group of 19 islands, out of which 7 are uninhabited. The islands are divided into southern, central and northern. They are divided into 3 parts: southern, central and the northern islands. India's only active volcano is in the Barren Islands in the Andaman, and it erupted on 10th April 1991. Just remember, India's only active volcano is in the Barren Islands in the Andamans, and it erupted on 10th April 1991. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are larger than Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea. These numerous scattered islands are actually submerged hill ranges, and some have volcanic origins. These islands are nearer to the Indonesian coasts than the Indian coasts. The region has an equatorial climate as it is close to the equator. Now, one question can be there: why it is having an equatorial climate? You will give the answer: as it is close to the equator. That's why it is having equatorial climate. This area is very rich in natural and forest wealth. The Andamans acquired the names Kala Pani. Earlier you would have read in history that they were being punished or they were sent to Kala Pani. They were exiled to Kala Pani. So actually what was this? The Andamans acquired the name Kala Pani in the 19th century when the British established a penal colony and the famous cellular jail in the capital Port Blair here. The Iceland's permanent residents include migrant Indians, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankans and Karens from Myanmar. The capital, Port Blair, is located to the southeast of South Andaman Islands. The town is a base from which to travel around the archipelago and is well equipped with hotels, banks, tour operators and sports complexes. The surrounding reefs are ideal for water sports, as it is just quoted by Priyansh Saxena that it is also known as Kala Pani Ki Saja. Now let's talk about the Lakshadweep Islands. Lakshadweep Islands, which means 1 lakh islands in Sanskrit. The word Lakshadweep Islands means 1 lakh islands in Sanskrit, lie scattered off the coast of Kerala in the Arabian Sea. It is the smallest union territory in India. Short question can be there, which is the smallest union territory in India. We will give the answer Lakshadweep. The southernmost island of this archipelago of the 36 exquisite coral islands is very close to Maldives. Our Iceland neighbor is the south. These islands were formerly called Lakshadweeps, Minikoi and Anandi Bay. In 1973, they were named as Lakshadweep. These islands have many untouched beaches, green coconut groves in a total land area of only 32 square kilometer. The Lakshadweep Islands were formed of coral deposits called atolls. The term has its origin in the Malayalam word atollu. These atolls enclosed shallow lagoons that harbor India's richest diversity of coral varieties and a multitude of colorful rare fishes. The Iceland group is located 300 km west of the Kerala coast. Just see the distance to the Kerala coast. From there it is 300 km west and comprises 36 islands. Cbse Island is the headquarter of these islands. Again a short question or a fill in the blank. Which island is the headquarter of these islands? You will give the answer Cbse. The Iceland is known for its variety and diversity in flora and fauna and has a bird sanctuary at Pitli, one of the uninhabited Iceland. The Icelands have an equatorial climate and are covered with white sand deposits. Now, as we have learnt in detail about the different physiographic divisions of India, each region's unique character is highlighted in the study of these units. It is very clear that each region complements the other, which also makes the country rich in its natural resources. Forests and water resources abound in the mountains of the north. The rich fertile soil of the northern plain yields cereals and crops that have earned in the name of Granary of India. Remember, it is also known as the Granary of India. Rich mineral deposits in the plateau region have aided the industries in our country. Fishing, and port activities give employment to people living in the coastal areas and islands. So we can see how the various physiographic features of India have influenced and are bound to affect the development in the future. Now let's talk a bit. If I talk about the diverse physical features of India, which have immense future possibilities of development, it can be the cause of following reasons. First, the mountains are the major source of water and forest wealth. The next point is the northern plains are the granaries of the country. They provide the base for early civilizations. The plateau is a storehouse of minerals, which has played a crucial role in the industrialization of India. The coastal region and islands group provide sites for fishing and port activities. Now, let's fast in a short span. I have to again define certain words. One of you asked me the meaning of the word sand dunes. A hill of sand made by the wind on the coast or in a desert is known as sand dune. Now, in a fast manner, if I just again do the glance of the topic which I have taught you, the first one is corals, a tiny soft-bodied animal that typically lives within a stony skeleton grouped in large colonies, and that is related to the jellyfish. The next one is estuary. It is a water body, especially an arm of the sea at the lower end of a river. The third word is harbor. Harbor is an area of the sea at the coast which is partly enclosed by land or strong walls so that boats can be left there safely. The next word is island, a piece of land completely surrounded by water. My next word is lagoons. What is the meaning of this? A stretch of salt water separated from the sea by a low and sandbank or coral reef. Now remember one more point. Cbse Ix. Cbse Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. There is a great diversity of flora and fauna in these group of islands. And children, I am thinking for an open session for this chapter tomorrow. Now let's move to the question round. Now in the questions, now let's turn to the question round. That is multiple choice question. And the question 1 is, now the questions would be visible . Okay, the first question is visible on your screen. The northernmost range of the Himalayas is known as option A, Himadri, option B, Lesser Himalaya, option C, Shivalik, and option D, none of the above. So what's your answer, children? Okay, Prithvi has given the answer very fast. Good, Prithvi. Other children? Others also, try your luck. Try to give the answer. Devansh. Akhil, give the answer. Okay, children. So, those who have not given the answer, yes, Devansh, good. Yes, the correct answer is Himadri. And children, you all should try to give the answer. Maximum what can happen, the answer can be wrong. So that's not a problem. You should try to give the answer. Now the first answer is Himadri. Now let's move to the second question. It would be visible on your screen. The second question is, the Kangra and Kullu Valley are located in the options are Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, so send your answer for this question. Okay, the four options are Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. So we can simply knock out two options. One is Uttar Pradesh and one is Uttarakhand. So now two are left, Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. Out of this, you can remove Jammu and Kashmir. So the answer for this question is Himachal Pradesh. Remember children, this particular areas lie in Himachal Pradesh. Those who are giving the answer, it's good, and those who are trying, it's good. And try to give the answers fast. Now children, my next question is, now the third question is, you can see Majuli is a riverine island located in the river? Options are Ganga, Brahmaputra, Yamuna, and option D, Kaveri. Start sending your answer. Okay. Yes, children. Priyansh. Okay, good. Other people? Yes, Vaibhav, good. So the answer for this question is Kaveri. Now let's move to the next question. My next question is Dudhwa National Park is located. Dudhwa National Park is located in the state of Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh or Rajasthan. Okay, Devansh, good. Yes, others also. So the correct answer for this question is Uttar Pradesh. Now let's come to the third question. The third question is, next question is, the soil containing calcareous deposits is locally known as Bhangar, Khadar, Bhabhar or Kankar. Okay, correct. Uttar Pradesh is the right answer. Now the next question. The soil containing calcareous deposits is locally known as Bhangar, Khadar, Bhabhar or Kankar. The answer for this is Kankar. Now let's move to the other question. The highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is option A, Anaimudi, Doda Beta, Ooty or Mahendra Giri. Okay, again I am repeating the question. The highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is option A, Anaimudi, option B, Doda Beta, option C, Ooty and option D, Mahendra Giri. Now tell the answer. The question is visible on your screen. Send me the answer for this. A, B